So based on the previous theory part that we have going through, we will take some more examples, like how we can proceed with the given examples. So here okay, so here a question is given, like you need to design a third order Butterworth digital filter by using impulse invariant method. So we have seen the impulse invariant method, that in that we have to whatever system is given to us, we will be breaking that system into different factor forms. We will be using partial fraction method to make the fraction of different poles. So this method, that impulse invariance method, we will be basically implying to all pole systems, are basically to those systems, to those analog filters that are having poles only. Okay, so suppose we have been given this h of s is equals to 1 upon s plus 1 multiplied by s square plus s plus 1. So this is the given system, and you need to use impulse invariant method. We also call it impulse invariance method. Okay, both are same. So we will be making the fraction of these two terms, the denominator terms that are having a different poles. So s plus 1 is a single pole, and s square plus s plus 1, it is having powers, that is s to the power is 2, the maximum. So it is having two poles. So we will be breaking it into s plus 1, a1 divided by s plus 1 plus a2 divided by s plus, after making the fraction, we will be after factorization we can get like this will be the solution, this one solution, and this will be the another solution. If it is like this is one pole and this is another pole, so we can make it to after combining also we can do like a2x plus a2s plus a3, we can do like that also. Or we can make a fraction, find out the roots of s, this s square plus 1. After taking the root, we will be factorizing in this way also. It will be quite simple. Okay, so after doing that, we will be multiplying both the sides by taking the LCM, both the side, and s plus 1 and s square plus s plus 1 will be cancelled out in the denominator side. This term will be multiplied here, and all the terms respective will be multiplied. So by multiplying and solving, we will get different values of a1, a2, and a3. So from there we can get a1 value is equals to 1, a2 value will be equals to this, and a3 value will be equals to this. So this is the only term that you need to have while calculating the constant values. So once you have gone through the calculation, you can do that. So once you have calculated a1, a2, a3, we will be getting the value of hs, that is the same analog filter transfer function. Analog filter transfer function will be given by this value. So this will be having separate poles. Okay, so these are total. Overall it is having s to the power 3. That means there will be 3 solutions to this polynomial. That means it will be having 3 poles. So with respect to 3 poles, we will be factoring h of s with 3 different fractions. So once we have fractioned it, we will be using the impulse invariance method. We will be using the mapping that we go for. So mapping formula. So in case of impulse invariance method, we will be using the mapping formula. So different mapping formula provides 1 upon s plus uh, j s plus s plus pk is a pole location. With respect to that, we will be replacing this S plus Pk to their respective mapping formula. So in that mapping formula, we will be before that we have to find out different poles. So P1, P2, and P3. We need to find out these poles. With respect to these poles, we will be providing you the formula. So from there, the first term, it will be providing the first pole. So it is P1 is equals to -1. Okay, we will be equating it equals to 0. So it will be providing S is equals to -1. Similarly, we will be making this term will equals to 0. So from there, we will be getting P2, that is second pole, will be equals to 0 minus 0.5 minus J 0.866. The P3 will location will be minus 0.5, and then this is plus J 0.866. Okay, so this is a real pole. We call it a real pole, but these two are the imaginary poles. So whenever any system is there, it is having a imaginary pole, then there will always be complementary of that imaginary pole. That means the imaginary poles will always exist in pair. We call it imaginary poles exist in pair. Okay, so pair in the sense like it will be located at the same real part having the same value, but at imaginary part it will be of complemented form. If it is minus, it will be plus. If it is plus, it is minus. Okay, so always the imaginary poles are considered to be existing in the pair form. Okay, so once we have find out the poles, we will be replacing it with respect to its impulse invariant mapping method. Like there is a mapping formula, so this term will be mapped to another term that is replaced by 1 minus. Instead of direct writing the pole, we will be writing in terms of Z transform because it is an analog form, and we are going to convert it into digital form. So once we are going to convert it into a digital form, this will be giving you the digital form. So it will be always in terms of Z. Along with that, the effect of this Pk, that is the pole location, so it will be e to the power Pk into T, and this T will be your sampling time. So whatever sampling time it is being sampled, that the analog signal is being sampled to a digital signal. So we will be using this sampling time multiplied by Z to the power -1. So this is the replacement. So for this particular term, we will be replacing Pk equals to 1. So 1 will be Pk will be replaced by 1. Similarly, for this term, we will be replacing uh, Pk, that will be P2 will replaced by -5 minus 0.5 plus sorry minus 0.5 minus J 0.866. So once we will be replacing it, and it will be multiplied by the time, that is sampling time, and Z to the power -1. So different terms will be given. So if in the question there is no sampling time, Ts is not given. Okay, so once Ts is not given, we will be considering Ts. We will be considering Ts is equals to 1 second. Okay, so all the values we have just find out. So this is 1 second. So Ts value we know, P1, P2, P3 value we know. We will be just putting out these values into this formula, mapping formula, and we will be getting different terms. So once we have replaced the different values, we will get like this is the combination. Okay. So after having this combination, we will multiply these two terms, and we will again separate it in the form of Z power -1. So after simplification, we will be getting this as the h of Z. Okay. So this is like here initially the analog transfer function was given. Okay, so h of s was already given into the question. So once the h of s is given, what we need to do is we need to directly use the method that the three methods we have used, we have studied, like approximation of derivative, impulse invariance method and bilinear transformation method. So once this h of s is given, we just need to use only out of any out of the three methods to convert it into the digital filter. Okay, but there may be like only the specification of a filter is given. Okay, if it is given like only the specification of a filter is given, and you need to first design an analog filter, and after designing this analog filter, we have to get the digital filter. So first of all, we will be using uh, based on the specification, we will be converting it into analog filter. Once we have converted into analog filter, we will be converting it into a digital filter by using different methods. Okay, the different methods that we have gone. So these three different methods are there. So while converting from specification to an analog filter, we will be using either Butterworth or a Chebyshev filter method. So here two methods will be used to convert the is given specification into an analog filter, and once the analog filter has been designed, we will be converting it into digital filter by using three different methods, that is these three methods. Okay, so the next question is the similar, like we need to find out the h of z. So we need to find out h of z means we need to find out the digital filter. Okay, so we need to find out the digital filter for a Butterworth filter satisfying the following constraints. So we need to design a digital filter by using Butterworth method. That filter is being satisfying the following constraints. So following conditions are given, and with respect to that, we need to find out the digital filter. So here the analog filter is also not given. Okay, so h of s is not given. When h of s is not given, then first of all, our first motive should be to find out the h of s. And to find out the h of s, we know that to find out h of s, we need to know the value of n, that is order of the filter, and also the cutoff frequency. Okay, so these two values are required to find out the h of s, that is the transfer function of an analog filter. And we also know like what is the generalized formula for the h of s, that is the transfer function of a Chebyshev filter. Sorry, the Butterworth filter, because we need to have a Butterworth filter. So in case of Butterworth filter, we know the generalized formula. Okay, so in that generalized formula, n value, that is order of the filter, and omega c, that is cutoff frequency, we need to find out before going for a generalized formula. So with respect to the specification, we will be converting it, and we will be calculating the n value and the omega c value. So this is the given specification. So always the basic, or you can say the raw the information that will be given in terms of the magnitude response. So it is the magnitude response of an analog filter. So this is given like the magnitude response is varying from under root 0.5 to maximum 1. So this we need to compare with the generalized formula. So once in the range of 3, because it is a low pass filter, always whatever specification we are getting, that should be considered only for the low pass filter, or from the given specification also we can get whether it is a low pass filter or what type of filter it is. So at the starting, if the frequency 0 to pi by 2, so we will be plotting the curve. So here it is the frequency. So in this frequency from 0 to some value like pi by 2, it is having a magnitude response from 1 to this value. So that means at the 0 it should have been 1, and up to some frequency, that is pi by 2, it should be this value, and this value will be less than 1. So it is 1, and this value will be 0.5 under root 0.5. Okay, so after that, and it is again saying like from 3 pi by 4 to pi, this is complete pi 0 to pi, one range is given. So it should be having like Okay, similar to this is the value. So here it is saying like at pi, around pi, it is less than 0.2. So between this value to this value, it is less than this, means this value will be equals to 0.2. Okay, because in this range, the value of the magnitude mod of h of e to the power j omega, we call it, or h of s we call it. So if in this frequency range the magnitude is less than 0.2, means highest will be at this point, and after that it will be reducing. So this is highest, and beyond this frequency it is having lower value than 0.2. So this is how we need to depict the given information. So once we have given depicted the given information with respect to our uh, uh, values that we have used for a generalized low pass filter. So in that we can get like this should be your pass band frequency, and this will be your stop band frequency. Okay, and this will be your delta 2, or we call it delta s, that is attenuation in stop band. Okay, similarly this will be your value, that is delta 1, or we call it delta p, that is attenuation in pass band. Okay, so this is how we can get the information from the given specification for a filter. So from the specification we will be converting it like delta 1 should be value equals to under root 0.5, and it will be equals to 0.707. Similarly, delta 2 value will be equals to 0.2, and omega 1 value, so omega 1 that will be equals to omega p. So this omega 1 is equals to omega p is equals to pi by 2, and similarly omega 2 value, that will be omega s, is equals to 3 pi by 4. Okay, so from there, so this from this we will be converting it, because these frequencies are given in terms of omega. So this omega represents the digital frequency. Okay, so this is the digital frequency. So once it is the digital frequency, we need to convert this digital frequency into analog frequency, because we need to find out the analog filter. So this is a digital frequency. So once the digital frequency is given, we need to convert this digital frequency to an analog frequency to find out the analog transfer function. Okay, and one more thing, like in this question, it is given that apply impulse invariance. So what does it mean? So whatever method you need to apply, or we have applied to convert an analog filter into a digital filter, we have applied is impulse invariance method. So this is the specification of a digital filter, and we need to convert it into analog filter specification. So we need to convert the digital filter into analog filter specification, like omega, the frequency value. So that frequency value will be given in terms of impulse invariance method. So in impulse invariance method, omega 1 is equals to omega 1, that is digital 1 divided by t. So this is how we get the digital frequency. So the digital frequency is given by sampling of the analog frequency. So analog frequency will be a continuous frequency. We will be sampling it, so we will be multiplying it by the TS. Okay, so this is how we get the digital filter frequency. So once we know the digital frequency, we can convert this digital frequency to analog. That is, analog will be omega 1 is equals to omega 1 divided by t. Okay, so once we know like t is equals to 1 by s, and omega 1 is equals to pi by 2. So omega 1 will be equals to, this is analog frequency, will be equals to pi by 2. And again the omega 2 value, the omega 2 value will be given by omega 2 divided by t is equals to 3 pi by 4 again. Okay, so from there we can get the analog frequency. Okay, so once we have got the analog frequency, uh, we again need to find out the n values. So this is like omega 1 and omega 2, that is for analog, that is pass band frequency for 1 and pass band frequency, stop band frequency for, okay, 2. Okay, so After getting these values, we need to find out the n value, that is order of the filter. Okay, so order of the filter is given like, we know the formula already. It should be greater than or equal to 1 by 2 log 1 by delta 2 square minus 1 divided by 1 minus delta 1 squared minus 1 to the whole divided by log omega 2 by omega 1. So after putting all these values, we will get like n is equals to 3.91. So if n is 3.91, so n should be an integer. So we will be taking n is equals to 4. Okay. So once you know the value of n, that is the order of the filter, we will be calculating the cutoff frequency. So that cutoff frequency, okay, so from this cutoff frequency, we know the formula, or we know the transfer function given for a Butterworth filter. So we already know like how the cutoff frequency, or the transfer function of an Butterworth filter is given. So Butterworth filter transfer function is given like, it should be 1 divided by, so it is 1 divided by 1 minus omega by omega c to the power 2n whole to the power 1 by 2. Okay, so this is how it is given, and this is equals to mod of h of s, we call it. Okay, so this is how it is given. So in the 3 dB frequency, 3 dB value, this will be your cutoff frequency. This cutoff frequency will be given at that point where your omega value will be considered as the pass band frequency. So because why we have considered the pass band frequency, because this is the value where the magnitude becomes half. So we will see like, okay, so this is the plot, magnitude response plot. So in magnitude response plot, if that magnitude response plot becomes 0.5 at what particular frequency, that is considered as your cutoff frequency. So in that cutoff frequency, this cutoff frequency is basically the magnitude becomes half, we call it. Okay, so half r we call, sorry, half r we call it the under root 2. So whatever magnitude is there, okay, so suppose this is the magnitude, 1 is the maximum magnitude, then the frequency at which the magnitude becomes 1 upon under root 2 will be considered as the cutoff frequency. Okay, so this is like under root 0.5 is written, we will be converting it, then it becomes 1 upon under root 2. That means the cutoff frequency will be same as the passband frequency. Okay, so we will be putting out this frequency, the term of omega 1. So once we will be putting omega 1 equals to this frequency, okay, and this will be again putting all the values like 1 by delta 1 square. So after getting, because at this point, at this value, the magnitude should be 1 upon root 2. So this magnitude we will be putting 1 upon root 2, whatever omega 1 frequency is there. After that, we will be finding out the cutoff frequency, that will be again the pi by 2. So once we have calculated the value of n and calculated the value of omega c, next we will determine the value of analog transfer function. Okay, so the generalized formula that we have seen already, like in case of Butterworth filter. So what is the generalized formula? Okay, so generalized formula for transfer function is given like h of s is equals to pi, where k is varying from 1 to n by 2. So this is the formula for n is equals to even. So there were basically two formula. One is for n is equals to even, and another one is for n is equals to odd. So in case of n is equals to even, we will be getting this formula. So by using this formula, we will be converting. So k should be varying from 1 to n by 2. So n is 4. So 4 by 2. That means the 2 value will be there. So k1 and k2, k should be varying for k1 and k2 to different values. So once the k is 1, we will be getting like b1 omega c square divided by s square plus b1 omega c s plus c1 omega c square multiplied by, once we will be putting k equals to 2, the same expression will be expanded. So this will be the term, and all the different terms we will be finding out. So b1 will be given. So for b1 we were having a formula to convert the b1 value. So by using that formula, that was a 2 sine 2k minus 1 pi by and it was similar to this. So we will be using that formula, and from there we will be calculating b1 is equals to this value, and c1 c2 always ck is always 1. So whatever ck value was there, this was always 1. So once ck is 1 and ck is 2, then also ck value will always be 1. So 1 and 2 will be 1. Okay, and again we will find out v2, and from there we need to find out like b1 into b2 will be equals to 1. So there was a formula like a was a similar to that it was like written like k should be 1 2 and by 2. So this was similar. So we will be putting once k equals to 1 and 2, we will be getting b1 and b2, and that will be multiplication will be a value that is 1. So therefore b1 and b2 should be equals to 1. So by using all the values that we have derived from there, and this expression we will be putting this value, and finally we will be getting h of s value will be equals to uh, this different by putting the value of different terms, we will be getting this value. So once we have put this value, and after making the partial fraction, we have just separated it out, and we will be converting, because we need to find out the z transform. Okay, so we need to find out the z transform. Finally we need to convert this into uh, a digital filter, and that digital filter should be converted by using impulse invariance method. Okay, so in the question it is given like we need to use impulse invariance method. Okay, so this method you need to use. So for this method we need to do the partial fraction. So we will be making the partial fraction, and again we will be separating it further after dividing terms. So we will get after the partial fraction we will be getting different terms. So once we have find out the different terms, we will be separating it out. Okay, so after separating it out, this has become a hs1. For simplification, it has considered this as separate one, this as separate one. So after converting this separate into different partial fraction methods, so we will be replacing this impulse invariance method to make the similar arrangement, so that we will be replacing. So once this replacement is has become in terms of s plus a whole square plus b square, and in the numerator that is s plus 1, the same s plus a. So if this type of structure is there, we will directly convert it into the formula. So similarly the same formula we have studied. So after that we can convert each term into their respective jet transform terms. So after completing h1s and h2s to h1z and h2z, okay, we will be adding these two to get the h of z. Okay, so this is how we can convert and given specification to an analog filter, and once we have converted it into an analog filter, we can convert it into a digital filter by the particular method that is given into the question. Okay, so this is how one of the method that we can use for converting analog filters to a digital filter. So this is you can say the lengthiest question that could be asked. So in the exam, for the exam point of view, the questions could be quite simpler, but you should be knowing the step-by-step analysis, like how we can go through these steps to calculate the questions and solutions. Okay, and we will see some more questions. Okay, so like suppose we'll be taking some more questions. Just a minute. Okay. So we will be taking one more question. Suppose a question is given like you need to find out the order and the cutoff frequency of given digital filter specification. So suppose we have been given a specification of a digital filter. So from there, you need to find out the order and the cutoff frequency. So suppose that filter is being represented by 0.89 is less than or equals to mod of h of other, it is written like e to the power j omega. So there is a different form of representation to represent a digital filter. So it could be written somewhere like h of z, or we can write in terms of h of e to the power j omega also, or we can write it h of j omega only. So there are different representations. So do not confuse with it. So suppose this is the given specification. Okay, so this is the given specification, and this is given in the form of omega value that is ranging from 0.45 to 0 value. So it is like okay. So for omega value ranging from 0 to 0.4 pi, this is the magnitude response. Similarly, the magnitude response in case of frequency that is ranging from 0.6 pi to pi is given like it is less than 0.18. Okay, so this is similar to the specification given in the previous question, like when to find out whether which condition it is. So from the given specification, we need to draw the magnitude response. So if this is the omega value, that is this omega value is in terms of digital frequency. Okay, so here from 0 to 0.4 pi, so this is 0.4 pi, it is having a magnitude that is maximum it is 1, and then from 1 it has converted to some value. Okay, so this is 1 and this has become a value that is 0.89. Okay, and the next is 0.6 pi, and this is maximum pi. So if it is the frequency range is given between 0 to pi, that means we call it like it is given in terms of analog frequency. Okay, so it will be keep on decreasing. So it will be like
Definitely.
Okay, so once we have given a specification with respect to that, we will be plotting, and at 0.65, this will be the value. Okay, so this value will be 0.18, and this value will be your okay. So once we have got this value, okay, so once we have got, from there we can get like delta 1 value is equals to 0.89, delta 2 value is equals to 0.18, and omega 1 value is equals to 0.45, and omega 2 value that is equals to 0.65. So this omega 1 will be equals to omega p, and omega 2 will be omega s. Delta 1 is equals to delta p, and delta 2 is equals to delta s. Okay, so once we have got the value, from there we can have that formula, like how we can convert it. So this formula, from the formula, n value is given by either less than or equals to 1 by 2 log, this is 1 upon 1 by delta 2 to whole square, okay, minus 1, sorry, so it is like 1 upon delta 2 to the whole square minus 1 divided by 1 upon delta 1 square minus 1. So this is the first term divided by log of, sorry, uh, log of omega s, or omega 2 value divided by omega 1 value. So in that calculation, we need to have the value of omega 1 and omega 2. So in the question, if it is written like we need to use impulse invariance or what particular method, so if in the question it is written like we have used the impulse invariance method. So once we know the impulse invariance method, from there we can find out that omega 2 value will be equals to omega 2 divided by Ts, and omega 1 value is equals to omega 1 divided by Ts. So from there, if Ts is given, otherwise this Ts value will be considered as Ts is equals to 1 seconds. So once we put the value, we can get the value of your, okay. So once we will be putting the value, we can get the value of n, and similarly we can get the value of uh, omega. Okay, so from there, by putting all the values into this formula, we will be getting the value of n, and similarly once we have got the value of n, okay, so in this question the value of n will be given by around, that is n is equals to 6. Okay, so once we have find out the value of n, we need to find out the value of cutoff frequency. So for cutoff frequency, we know like this cutoff frequency is given by the formula, that is omega 1 divided by 1 by delta 1 whole square minus 1 to the power, we call it 1 upon 2n. So this formula has come from the same, the magnitude response that is given for Butterworth filter. From there we can calculate this value. We will be separating it out, that to cutoff frequency. So after getting this, after putting all the values omega 1 and delta 1, we can get the value of cutoff frequency, like it is 1.40. 1.40. Right. Okay, so this could be the simplest question that you could be asking to the exam. So make sure you have gone through the basics. That's why I am making just questions that should be looking like familiar to you. It should not be like it is perfectly unknown to you. So make sure you have gone through these questions. These are basic questions, and you should be not confused in between the digital and analog frequency terms and whatever specification is given. So with respect to specification, whatever it is given, you need to find out their respective terms, frequency terms, and then you can use the formula directly to calculate the different order of the filter and omega values.